They went to his house. There was an altercation. They're big about come outside on the porch. Once they get you out past that door, it's a free-for-all. But if your screen is locked, they can't come in. I've done this. I've sat on my fucking front door telling them, you can't fucking touch me. Get the fuck off my property. Well, why don't you come out here and make me? I says, if I come out there and make you, you're going to the fucking hospital. I'm going to jail or the morgue, but you're going to the goddamn intensive care unit. They're not allowed to do certain things. And I have a feeling that cop probably just grabbed John by the beard. I mean, you get a fucking face full of beard tugged on, it hurt like hell. I used to wear a long beard. And with that, John probably went right into fight mode and kicked the shit out of the cop. They wound up on the ground, and that cop punked up, pulled his revolver and shot him 6 times, man. Cop is a fucking punk. I know who Michael Kiegas is. I know who Michael Kiegas is when he was a little punk running around that town trying to date the college girls. I've been around here about 30 years, man. I've run businesses here. I've been a little bit famous here. Before I got married, I was well known as a carpenter in that town. There's a lumber yard in that town, Womble's Lumber Yard. I lived on the street. I actually took a house apart and rebuilt it. It's a little white house on 10th Street there. When you get up to the corner, past the railroad tracks, coming back towards Stanford Way, that little white house was my house. That was our house, Amanda and I.
Mm.
So people knew me in that town as, don't fucking cross me, don't smack me, I'm not your kid, I'm not your kid brother or anything, I'm not your relative. If you smack me, I'm gonna fucking floor you. And I had a good reputation as a carpenter there. People would come and seek me out, and they'd, I want you to do this. I need you to build me a gazebo. I need you to come and just check out a job. I was a master carpenter, man. Any old buddy can put some wood together, but when you start getting into compound miter cuts and shit like that, and hip rafter roofs and things like that with king rafters and shit, you gotta have a little bit of math skills. You gotta know how to read a bevel and shit like that, and operate a bevel.
Right.
So yeah, whatever you say that happened in that town, I believe you. I know the way they operate. I know exactly how they operate.
That's pretty much how I feel when anybody tells me anything. And now, because all the stories sound pretty much familiar and similar, somewhat. There's similarities in just about all the stories.
All of the people who have been victimized need to actually stand together. Let's see if we can't get a cop or 2 a jail sentence.
Right. Right, exactly.
Like I've said for the last 20 years, you throw a couple of these cops
exactly.
in that have beaten black kids to death, throw them in jail. Wait until next year this time when that damn Derek Chauvin, when they finally say, what's happened? What's going on with Derek Chauvin for the last year? He's going to be pimped out, man.
Right.
He's going to be somebody's little prison bitch. He's going to be like Scott Peterson.
Well, I'm trying to. One thing I'm researching right now, the new law that Governor Cooper just signed. I'm trying to see if
Cooper's a fucking punk. He's a pissant. When he was Attorney General, I made him aware of what went on. Tom Tillis, I spoke to him and told him personally, and his daughter. See that little snot-nosed daughter? I says, laws have been broken. The very laws that you drafted into bill and legislation, they've been broken. I expect that you will come and deal with this. The title has been forged and the truck stolen. Oh, there's nothing I can do about that. That's civil. I says, that's a fucking United States government issue certificate of title. That's federal, man. This ain't government. This ain't state government. This is federal government that you're breaking laws on. You got what you have here in this little clusterfuck, which makes it incredibly hard too, because now I'm dealing with the same situation in Hickory. The district attorney here runs 3 counties: Harnett, Lee, and Johnston. Okay? She's the prosecutor for all of those 3 counties' courthouses. The same thing is going on in Catawba, Caldwell, and Burke County. There's one district attorney for all 3 counties, and it makes it so easy for these son of a bitches to manipulate the law in their favor. It is what they say it is, and by the time it gets discovered by somebody in Washington, D.C., it's years gone by.
Right.
You know, I've already told these cops. I called the fucking Harnett County Sheriff's Office a few weeks ago after dealing with a scumbag, which is the worst part, because my wife's grandmother, my grandmother-in-law, she was a deputy at a Harnett County. She was a fucking officer of the law, so was her grandfather. Both sets of her grandparents. They raised her. I'm talking to this cop, and he's being a punk. Oh, that's not our jurisdiction. I says, you know what the fuck is going on. Worst of all, you bounced my wife on your knee when she was in it. I said, how dare you? Well, sir, I ain't going to talk about this no more. About an hour later, I called up there, and I tell him, I said, so is this the Eastern Seaboard chapter of the Hells Angels? He says, huh? I said, yeah, I got your fucking attention now. I says, you know, at a certain point, I'm going to just become flubber-busted with this. I'm going to dump it in a gang's lap. Like the Mongols, MS-13, I don't know, Hells Angels, the Outlaws, whatever rogue biker gang that hates cops as much as I do. When they hear our sad story, there's not going to be no more opportunities for fucking justice. That's a threat. I says, no, that's a guarantee, man. I need a family now. I'm alone. I'm going to join up with a club. I'm going to serve my internship for a year. And when the mamas in the club hear my sad story, they're going to tell the president of the club. And the president of the club is going to say, what happened? Don't worry. Rooster, you take care. We're going to take care of this for you. Go to the bar and hang out. Make sure a lot of people see you. That's where I'm at. That's really where I'm at, man.
Right.
I'm not fucking joking. You know, I had to tell this cop. I says, you think he's tough? I says, let me tell you what. If you didn't know anything about the Bloods, if you didn't guess my wife was a black woman, and that just makes the connection there, let alone you don't know if I'm affiliated myself. I says the Bloods outnumber the combined armed forces and all you cops in the United States. They're 3-4 million deep. The combined boots on the ground don't even equal 1.5 million pairs of boots on the ground. With the Air Force, the Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Coast Guard, and the National Guard, you ain't gonna come up with 1.5 million pairs of boots at one time. Bloods outnumber them 3 to 1, man. You can't say shit like that. I said, well, here you go again. I'm talking about my First Amendment rights. Why can't I say what I want to say? So that's where I'm really getting at to this point, where I'm ready to say, let me throw this in fucking MS-13's lap, man. Let me tell them the story. Let me shout out all the names. Fuck them. I'll tell them right to their face. Well, you caused it. You started it. You made it where nothing was off limits, gangster. You came to my home on a Sunday. You violated the peace and sanctimony of my family on a Sunday. I grew up on the block as John Gotti. When I lived in Queens, I grew up on the block. I was the only Irish kid in the Guinea neighborhood. You think I'm playing? Check out the bills. Check out the addresses. I lived on 101st Street. Mr. Gotti lived on 97th Street. You know, 101st Avenue, 97th Avenue. You never know who used to get Mr. Gotti his coffee. You know? You can't say that. You guys says, motherfucker, I say whatever I want, and I'm trying to give you a heads up. All of a sudden, you're going to be sad like me. All of a sudden, I'm not going to play no more. You want a gangster? You want an animal? You think you're an animal? Nah. An animal is somebody who fucking forces battery acid down your throat and then lights a road flare and shoves it up your ass for a minute to see what the effect is. That's a monster. That's what you want, isn't it? Isn't that what you're itching for? Somebody to pour a gallon of gas down somebody's throat and then shove a road flare up their ass. They're real scums here, man. And you, with your situation, I can tell you right off the top, man. If your wife is a woman of color, that's already a strike against you, just like me. If you ain't from these parts, there's your second strike against you. If you don't bow down and lick their boots, that's your third strike against you. You know, I've already had them trap me off on dark roads and tell me this or that, and I tell them, I says, look across the street. See that doorbell camera there? It's watching us. Just imagine for what you can see in the darkness, all of the things that you can't see in the darkness. You know, I've been in neighborhoods where, black neighborhoods. There's a place called Shorttown in Pun Level down there in Lillington. I've been pulled over in those neighborhoods where some cop is telling me, you can get hurt here. And I'm telling him, not half as bad as you. I'm from the neighborhood. I know everybody in every house here. They're in a house who I can't stop in their driveway, knock on the door, and walk in and have a meal. You? I says, don't you see all of the people watching you right now? They're waiting for you to get off the hook with me, man. They're waiting for you to do something stupid, and then all of a sudden you're going to be pelted with rocks and bottles and sticks and shit, man. You know, I'm not in danger here. You're in danger here, buddy. I'm a white boy who fits into this neighborhood. You're a white boy who doesn't, and he's wearing a badge, and has done nothing but give everybody in this neighborhood a hard time. How do you think this is going to turn out, man? Yeah, they don't like me, so they don't play with me that hard. They just rather to fucking walk away from me, you know? It's a hairy damn animal, and a lot of twists here. The things that they've done have damn near made me fucking go over the edge. I'm just trying to maintain, you know? To tell you the truth, I look forward to my own death. Maybe I'll be with my wife, you know?
Don't talk like that, though, man. You don't want to talk like that, though, man.
It's already taken care of, man. I already paid for her funeral and mine. We have a conjoining urn. When I'm dead, they'll dig her up, they'll put me in the urn with her, and they'll put us back in the ground. You know? Life is a stage of death. Like my dear old departed mother used to tell me, nobody gets out of this motherfucker alive, son. You know, when I asked her as a kid, well, what do I do if somebody kills me? She says, you make damn sure to try to kill them first, or at least have their eyes in your pocket. You know, my mother was a realist. My mother raised 5 grown-ass men that wound up being good guys. You know, she could have easily raised gangsters. She could have easily raised gangsters in a crime family. You know, we're all tough, we're all big, you know, and we're all got no fear of. You know, like I said, nobody gets out of this son of a bitch alive. You know anybody who has? You know anybody who's gotten out of here alive? That's what I'm saying. Nobody leaves this world alive.
Well,
death is a part of life. When you're born, you learn how to breathe, and in the end, you learn how to die. But that doesn't mean it's finished. It's just another step, another evolution. Although, true be it that nobody's ever really come back and told you, hey, man, while I was at death, man, I was hanging out at the damn Playboy Mansion. You know? I was out at damn Rockaway Beach. I was at Obispo Beach, California, man. You know, nobody knows. But what they're doing here is they'll make somebody like you or me crazy for their entertainment. That's how they entertain themselves. When I caught on to what they were doing and realized it, I put the fear of fucking God in them. I ask them questions like, what's the fucking first thing or the last thing you do when you're getting in your car? You know, you want to go to your car, you want to jump in it, you're going to go ride to town, or you're going to go ride to Florida. Well, what's the very first thing you're doing when you get to that car? It's a simple answer, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to grab the handle to get in. You know?
Right.
What does that mean? It means you got to grab the handle. Unless you got a convertible, then you can jump over the seat. But the second thing you got to do is you got to turn the ignition. You know? What are you saying? I'm saying what you got to do when you get in an automobile and drive. Some of the newer cars, you actually got to step on the brake pedal, and that's power. That's accessible power right there. A smart-minded person would use that as a fucking detonator. What are you saying, you know? You have to learn how to play their game. Now, I was unaware that Susan Matthews is who she was until I read your page. I'm going to call her one more time and ask her, you going to restore my Second Amendment rights? I'm a felon, but I can still have a gun. I'm not a violent felon. There's a way for me to be able to carry a gun. You don't want to help? Enjoy your tenure here, because I'm going to go get some plywood, 4x8 sheets, and I'm going to start writing signs on it. And then I'm going to nail it all over my front property, so everybody on the major road to Raleigh will see it. I'm going to describe what a cunt you are and how you serve only the elite select few. You know, I'm not going to be good for your career. Yeah, she's a little hoe, okay? Before she married her goofball husband, he was a punk too. Like I said, I've been here long enough to watch them when she was still in pigtails, wondering what a cock was for. Same thing with her old man, you know? I was here when his mother would put a bowl on his head and cut his hair. That's how long I've been here for. I've watched these little bastards grow up. And I don't like what they're doing. And I'm especially fucking out of my mind that they killed my wife. They killed my wife. They made it look like an accident. You know, this pig up here in town, this chief of police, I had just told him a couple of months before, he's trying to always be friendly now. He's, wanting to be my friend. And he was working on, I was actually giving him a fucking break after being a cocksucker and lightening up on him. And, I told him, I said, me and Amanda, if we don't ever work it out and we don't get together, I won't be able to go on without her. He knew. Oh, so all we got to do is kill her and you'll kill yourself? Pretty much. One thing you're neglecting to look at is how mad am I going to be the day that I decide to end my own life? How fucking mad am I going to be? Think I can knock all of yous off? I know I can. Yeah, I'm upset, buddy. My wife never hurt anybody. You could quote anything from King James, the Old Testament, or the New Testament. You could quote the beginning of whatever it was, and my wife could complete it. If you were messing around and telling her, damn, I'm cold, I need a blanket, but I can't afford one, she'd go in her room, in her little sewing room, she'd go get a couple of balls of yarn, and she'd knit you a damn blanket, man, in a couple of hours, okay? She'd knit you an Afghan, man. My wife wasn't just nobody that didn't matter. They knew by hurting her that they'd hurt me. Now, all I want is justice for her, man. I want to see Vernon Stewart in jail. I want to see this chief of police in jail. That little punk Christopher Autry, I almost cold-cocked him right in the courtroom. He had to snap his fingers for the bailiff because he felt it getting ready to happen. He starts telling me, I grew up in a tough neighborhood, man. I said, really? Where is that? Well, I grew up in Charlotte. Are you fucking kidding me, man? The Queen City? Well, that's Elizabeth City. I says, you grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina? Well, Charleston, South Carolina. No, Charlotte, North Carolina. I says, how fucking tough is that? You got gangsters there? So what? You was a little kid and you seen your first dead body, boots sticking out of the garbage can at 5? I says, because that's the kind of life that I live. I seen my first body when I was 4 or 5. I had to ask my mother, why is that man's shoes hanging out of it and his legs hanging out of that garbage can, Mom? They're punks here, man. It's all about who you know and who you blow, not what you can do and what you can show. They're fucking punks. And they'll victimize people like you as a means of entertainment for themselves. When you're printing all of that stuff, they're all giggling up there and they're all crossing their fingers and waiting for you to fuck up, okay? With me, I tell them right off the top, I don't fucking care if I get killed. I'm taking my killer with me. I don't care if you fucking throw me in jail. I can fucking rebuild after I get out of jail. What do you think, that holds a fucking threat over me? I have a good time in jail. I know everybody in there. I smoke. I'll eat a couple of breakfasts. It won't be a matter of me walking up to somebody and telling them, yo, man, let me get your breakfast and shit. I'll eat a couple of lunches a day. 4 o'clock, I get to lay back in my cot, man. So they ain't got the ability to kind of fucking scare me like that. And if they think for 1 minute that they can scare you like that, they'll try to tune you up. Oh, he's afraid to go to jail. Tell him right off the top, jail for me, man, that'd just be fucking like grown-up daycare, man. Grown-up camp. You know? You'll fucking pay me to have a place to live. I don't have to worry about a light bill, a water bill, insurance, property. My property is my cot and my locker. You know? While I'm here, I'm going to run a card game. I'm going to loan money out. All sorts of shit, man. And if I want to smoke a joint, it'll only be a matter of trading a couple of cups of coffee. So what are you going to do to me? That shit ain't going to work on me. They go for that, you know? They go for guys that'd be afraid, oh, man, I can't go to jail. You know? So that's what I'm telling you. You just be careful, buddy.
You know,
because if they can ever trap you off on like a dark road, like Prison Camp Road.
Oh, I know that, but I know that very well. Yeah, that's why I'm not going back there. Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm not going back there until we can get the FBI to intervene. Because I know that.
No. You can float if you have a problem with a punk cop up there, you can tell him, do you know the junk man?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, you can even tell him, yeah, he's a distant cousin of mine. When you tell them, and they say that, if a cop recognizes the name, you'll see it in the look in their face. You'll see it in the look in their eyes. For a while here, I was working outside. I was practicing for a couple of hours a day. People would pull up to me and they'd say, excuse me, man, do you think you can teach me? Do you think you can teach me how to do that? And I tell them, nah, man, I don't do instructions. You know? I'd get a kick out of it. I'd grab a brick, slap it over my forehead, look at him and grin. You know? I had one guy come out here one day and he thought, I don't know what the hell he was thinking, and I told him don't do it. I practice off my forearms. I snap shit with my forearms just below the elbow. Well, if you don't do that right, man, and you don't have the agility and the muscle, you usually break your ulna. Your ulna is the outside bone of your arm, your forearm. Your radius is the inside bone of your forearm. I had a guy snap his own. I told him, I says, don't do it. I was snapping hickory handles in half, you know, shovel handles. And a friend was saying, can you snap this? And I said, sure, man. He says, God damn, that's hickory. I said, yeah, it's not the power and the muscle that you possess. It's the sudden snap and jerk, man. You know, when I would teach. And a guy comes up and he's Jimmy Badass and he gets out of his car and he's a little bit big, you know. He's not going to do that. And I'm telling him, nah, you don't want to do that, man. It doesn't look like you have the correct form. What you saying, man? Man, can I break this one? I says, I doubt it, but you're welcome to try. Yo, motherfucker, I heard the bone snap. I heard his bone go. He broke his arm right in front of us, man. I says, you probably got to leave, don't you? He says, yeah, I got to leave. I tell him, I look at him as he's getting ready to go. I says, strange how that sounded like a pencil snapping in your head, huh? He just looked at me like, what the hell? Because that's what a broken bone. I've broken so many bones in my own body that I know the sound. You know, if I'm working out and I tell somebody, man, I just fractured my leg. I got to go to the hospital and get some works and shit. What do you mean you fractured? Yeah, I just put a hairline fracture in my leg, man. I heard it. Nah, you didn't. Yeah, I didn't. Well, I fractured my arm, you know. Get out of here. How can you tell that? I'm telling you, man. It makes a distinct sound. It sounds like you just snapped a pencil in your fingers, man. I don't know how else to describe it. That's exactly what it sounds like in your head.
Yeah.
You know? And you get the stupid look on your face like, oh my God. I just broke my own arm. I teach my wife. My wife was taught. She would have been the equivalent of probably purple belt, maybe hard brown. And I teach in a one day, and I tell her, I says, this is how you do it. It's the sudden snap and jerk. She kicked me in the fucking arm and broke my arm. I looked at her, I says, you son of a bitch. She says, what? I says, you just broke my arm, baby. She says, get out of here. I says, baby, I broke this arm several times. Okay? You just broke it in a weak spot. She says, no way. I says, okay, let's go to the hospital. And sure enough, she put a hairline break in my arm, and I had to wear a cast for 2 months. That's why I'm knowing there's probably skin in my wife's rings. I've already told this cop. I'm going to have these rings analyzed someday, and God forbid your skin is in her rings. You might be able to tell everybody else, it happened when I was moving her body. You never touched her body after she was dead. So you had to have touched her body and come in contact with her before she was dead. If I'm 100% proof, that's all I need, man. It's the 99.9% that keeps me from reacting. And the way that everything's gone, they killed her. Right. They killed the precious little baby. Yeah, man, I can't afford to get angry. I get angry, I might stomp somebody's cock into useless. I might flatten their cock and tell them, how does that suit you, man? You'll never use that dick again. They're going to have to do a special surgery for you. They'll insert a catheter in there. Okay? You raped my wife, you savaged her, and then you threw her in front of a truck like a piece of garbage? Shit. I'll remove your fucking head. So I'm hoping that somebody will see the videos that I have posted. There's other videos I don't have posted. The account was hacked. So they left a couple of videos up there and they dismantled the other videos. Somebody got a hold of my PIN number, I guess. I changed the PIN number after I realized that videos were disappearing. And then I disappeared a few videos too. But that doesn't mean I don't have the master copies, man. And once somebody sees it, once the cop sees it, and it's been explained, yeah, they brought these bail bondsmen here, then they walk away, they were going to shoot us. And then I never talk about the stolen truck again and the crooked cops. So whatever happens between this cop putting APB out to try to locate my wife, once they found her, she was dead 5 weeks later, man.
So
I'm
sorry.
still having a problem believing she's dead. I'm still having a problem.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for your loss.
My mind wanders off. Like, is she in the Federal Witness Protection Program? And if that's the case, just bring her here. Let me say goodbye to her and, have a good life. If you want me to go with you, I'll go with you. Change my identity. But ain't nobody doing that. Then the big problem is was my wife really killed? Or is she being I've seen this movie a couple of weeks ago called Traffic. And it's out of the driver's brother popped with a boatload of dope and heroin, trafficking crystal methamphetamine, fentanyl. He's already out on bond for a pending trial. He's not supposed to be in trouble. And all of a sudden, he's out the same day he gets charged with a $30,000 bond. His 4 accomplices are still in jail. The 4 other people that they busted, his friends, they're still in jail. But he's out. See, I put so many damn red flags out there, I'm hoping whoever her assailants are, especially this cop, I hope they come to the house to try to take me out.
Well, you live in the area still?
Sure. I live in our same house.
In Harnett County? Or in that county? Or?
In Broadway. I'm right outside of Harnett.
Okay, you're still in that area.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I've got some contacts for the FBI, a direct contact for somebody who works in the Civil Rights Division. His name is Michael Pendley. He tried to contact me in 2017 via email, but I think I forget what happened. I lost contact with him. I had an issue with my email. I don't remember now, but I still have his email address.
If an FBI agent took our case full-heartedly, with full gumption towards it, directed towards, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. When he was done with our case, he would become director of the FBI. There's 2 lieutenants from the Department of Motor Vehicles that should be arrested. There's 1 agent from the Department of Motor Vehicles headquarters that should be arrested. There's the commissioner then of the Department of Motor Vehicles. He was aware, and he put blockades up. He should be arrested. Conspiracy. Then you've got the sheriff of the county. Co-conspiracy to commit murder. This guy's talking. I finally get a hold of him one day on the phone. And he tells me, Mr. McDonald, I've heard about your case. I said, you've heard about my case? This son of a bitch in Gestapo there won't let me into your offices. Who the hell are you to deny me from coming into a sheriff's office to file complaints? You know? He says, well, I've heard about it. I says, well, now you're talking to the horse, and you're not talking to his asshole like you're so used to doing. You're talking to the head part. And he wouldn't talk to me. I called him out. I've called him out multiple times. I've told his little friends, I can't wait until he retires. Then he's just a regular guy. Although true be it that he might be able to tell some cop, I used to be the sheriff here. You're just a citizen. It's just 2 old men, same age, getting into a disagreement. And one kicks the shit out of the other. Simple assault, man. Yeah, I've told several of them. I freak them out when I ask them, when are you going to retire, man? When are you going to be a regular guy? They get all apprehensive when I say that, any of them. What does that mean, man? Asking you a question. When are you not going to be a cop no more, man? Well, that's none of your business. I says, you're public record, man. If I really wanted to know when you retire, I'll just go pull your jacket out of public information. I says, as a matter of fact, maybe I need to look at your medical damn workup, man. You can't do that. I says, there you go again, once again. You're a public employee, a civil servant. I have the right to know if you have a contagious disease, if you're carrying leprosy, gonorrhea, whatever it is you might have, tuberculosis. So don't pop that shit off on me. That's why they don't like playing with me. That's why they avoid me, because I know a little bit more than I should. Which is useless because they're all in a little clusterfuck. You know? I've already walked up to him years gone by and told him, wow, you should be fucked up if a bad guy just flopped a grenade in the middle of you. How do you get all of you? What does that mean? I says, you'd be fucked up if a fragger fell in your lap, man. Fragger or an incendiary bomb, it doesn't matter. These are all standing in such a close little cluster here. You'd all get a piece of it. Are you threatening us? I says, no, I'm just saying what a fucked up thing if some crazy guy did that. You know? That's where I'm at these days. I'm antagonizing the shit out of them the way they antagonize my wife. They prefer hate crimes against. The only thing they haven't done, and I'm not entirely sure that they haven't, is burn a fucking cross on all one, man. It's the only thing that they haven't done yet, you know?
Mm.
They're fucking scum. I mean, and especially if you're from here. My running joke with the little punks here is I'll tell it right to their faces, the big tall ones who think they can take me and shit. I tell them all the time, put your hands on me, man. If I were you and your size, I would have definitely already punched my fucking mouth. I says, you're quite the self-made man. With all that money your daddy left you, huh? What does that mean? It means that you're a spoiled little bitch who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. And that's the way it is here, son. If you didn't know it, I'm telling you. And that's why you're going to get so much resistance. See, where I come from, it's against the law to marry your cousin or your sister. You can go to jail for that shit. Here, it's legal. Here, it's legal. Perfectly legal. You want to marry your sister? All you got to do is go to the courthouse and get a license. You know? So, not all of the people in North Carolina are bad. There's a lot of good folks, but they're scared. You know? They'll say, oh, I don't need a problem, man. I got to live here. You can move. I said, you can move too.
Yep.
It's nothing that keeps you binded to this piece of earth, man, but yourself.
I hear that a lot. Yeah, people. A lot of people. I get calls like this all the time, and a lot of people don't want me to share their stories because.
Because they're gonna live here.
Yeah, exactly.
Their cousin is the perp. You gotta watch too, because if you get around the right people, if your gut instinct tells you, they'll send fucking they'll send how can I articulate this? They'll send people over to try to befriend you, to pump you for information, and then they'll run right back to your enemy and tell them. You're thinking this guy is a new friend, and he's the fucking cousin of your enemy, or the son of your enemy.
Right.
See, I had to cut a different way a long time ago for myself. If you put your hands on me, I'm going to put your fucking eye in my pocket. While you're busy trying to punch my mouth, I'm busy trying to strangle you, man. You know, I can take a punch or two in the mouth. Don't let me get my hands around your head. Bulldogging is one of my favorite maneuvers. You know, you grab the head, and it'll travel straight down to the earth. And the rest of the body will follow it, you know. I grab you by the head, your head's going to travel into the earth or into my knee or foot. So I had to cut my way that way a long time ago. If you slap me, I'm going to pummel you. You know? If you poke me with a blade, I'm going to lash you up. You know, I'm going to skin you. These are the things our mother taught us. That man punches you in the mouth, you punch him in the eye twice, you know? That's the way we would get in trouble as youngsters if we didn't. We grew up in New York City, mind you. When you're confronted, you have to fight. Otherwise, you'll be bullied for the rest of your life there. You know, my mother raised us, so the rule was, you're not allowed to start a fight, but you're not allowed to not finish the fight either. Don't come home with your ass kicked telling me that you didn't even throw a punch, because then I'm going to have to beat you. You know? It's that kind of logicking that we were brought up with. Don't punch nobody for no reason. Don't start nothing. Don't start no shit. There won't be no shit. Kind of along those terms. Mm-hmm. You know, city women have a harder task keeping their children alive, let alone raising them to adulthood. Mortality rate in a city is probably 10 times that of a country, you know? The only things you can really get killed by out here are a fucking car or a tractor, you know? Or somebody accidentally shooting you during deer season. You can get killed fucking stepping out your front door in New York. You can get killed trying to get on the bus or the train. Death is with you every moment of every day in New York. You're only a moment away from death's door in New York. And that's the way that the mothers raise their kids. So they'll do a lot. Like I said, if they think they got you by whatever, and you know, you got an old lady, and if that's your woman there, that woman that's Mrs. Gill,
I'm sorry?
they'll try to go for her. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your wife.
Right.
Yeah. And she looks like she might be mixed. You know? So you just gotta be careful. And that's why I was trying to tell you last week, there's strength and unity in numbers. If you're popping off at the mouth to them and I'm popping off at the mouth to them, it's just two separate people popping off. But if all of a sudden we stand together and say something like, guess what? We just met and we have so much in common. We have so much in common that we're going to go find others like us. So this way you won't be able to tell everybody, it's just one isolated incident. No, there's 15 of us standing here now. Some of us got videos, some of us got documentation. Now you're not 50,000 Frenchmen telling one Frenchman he's wrong. Now you're one Frenchman reminding the 50,000, this is the way it works. Yeah, Harnett County is kind of stupid. You got to be careful there because it's a big area. I don't know where you're staying. If you're staying in Spring Lake, if you're staying in Anne's Creek, if you're staying in the damn White Level. You know, there's a lot of different facets of Harnett County. You got Riverside, you got One Level, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you got a big neighborhood.
it's a big
You got
area. It really
Don
is.
on this part of it.
Yeah, it really is. It's a huge area. It really, it's yeah, it's a big area, and yeah, no desire to go back there though.
Where are you now? Are you out of the county?
Yo, yeah, I've been out of the county for about 7 years. But
Are you
yeah,
still in North Carolina or are you someplace else?
yeah,
Don't tell me.
I'm sorry.
Don't tell me.
Yeah,
Don't tell me where you are.
yeah, we're out of the area. Yeah, but
Yeah, you got to be careful. I suggest that I'm working on it myself. There's video cameras everywhere. They got a video camera that you can put on your damn your sun visor.
right.
They got a video on your doorbell. They got one now that you can wear around your damn neck. Like a cop has a phone, a video camcorder. A GoPro, a simple GoPro. You know, you clip a GoPro on your shirt.
Right.
You might not be able to get to your phone and go live. But once they see that video camera, they'll ask you, are you recording me? Tell them, hell yeah. Anytime them blue lights come on, that recording goes on, just like you guys. Are you recording me? Because, you know, when your blue lights go on, as an officer of the law, if that damn camera isn't running and you've initiated a stop with blue lights, you're out of uniform. You're in violation of the code of ethics. That camera wasn't given to you to turn on and off at your convenience. I had one a couple of weeks ago. The local cop here, I call out, the one who heard the confession. So I call him out again. They show up. It's a woman, you know. And I'm particularly worried about it. She's a rookie. You know, it's not my business to worry about a cop, a mortal enemy. But with this one, she overheard the confession. She had my back. So I call her out on occasion here, and the one time I do, this cop shows up. And I'm telling him, I want a video camera on hood chest. How come all of you guys have one? And I tell him, I says, where's your video camera? He says, oh, well, I knew I was coming here. I says, what the fuck does that mean? More so over. Don't ever come back to my house without that video camera on. You're not welcome here. You got the video camera on, you're welcome. If you ain't got it on, don't come here, man. You know? I've already had to tell the cops, and I put a fence up in my backyard. They would continuously come to my back door. And I corrected that many years ago. I says, look at here, man. I says, you want me coming to your house and knocking on your back door? I says, the back door is for family, guests, and friends. Visitors like you on business, you use the front door. You got that? Don't trespass behind my house no more. Don't ever let me see you going back there because I'll file a complaint against you. Now, I was held from filing complaints against the Broadway police. My civil rights were violated. I had to tell the town manager and the mayor. I told the mayor here, 2 weeks ago, I told his secretary, I says, you let the mayor know that my house is for sale to this town for $1 million. I wouldn't joke about it, and I wouldn't take it with half a grain of salt. I would take this serious. I says, when I'm done, I'm going to sue every individual here at a personal level for liable. You know? So they don't like to talk to me too much.
Right.
They try to kind of push me away. If I call the police department or the sheriff's department, they're saying, oh no, I don't want to go over there. Call us when he's killing somebody, you know?
Right.
They're scumbags, man. You gotta understand. You got a select little crew. I know how they operate. You got a select little crew. They become cops because their initial intentions, most of them are, I want to help people, man. But after they're a cop for a year or two and they realize all of these perks that they're getting, that they can go and buy the impounded four-wheelers, that they get no taxes on their shit, that they can go and buy the seized automobiles, you know, go into their captain and say, you know, my wife blew the van up, man, and I got nothing to get back and forth to work. They'll hold a special auction where only that couple of that cop and another cop is there to bid against them, and they'll bid it out. I've been present when they did that in Harnett County. A bunch of black guys that were actually on the maintenance department noticed it before I did, and they all walked over. They about attacked that cop. They all filed complaints on him. They had an auction behind the building. And I'm not thinking, the cop says, give me a minute, I got to go inside. And the one guy says, nah, you ain't going inside. I know what you're getting ready to do. You're getting ready to call your fucking cousin and tell him there's a couple of cars down here for auction that he forgot about to come and show up. He says, you hold this auction right here and now. The cop starts texting him. You know, he can't do anything about it, texting him. And the cop's cousins show up. And I'm looking around and I'm telling him, you're going to let me get that truck because I'm going to create such a fucking problem that you're going to wish you had let me get that truck. You piss on my game and I'll piss all over your cornflakes. You know? You knock the spoon out of my bowl of cereal and I'll crap in your bowl of cereal. And that's sometimes how you got to get with it. I've been no stranger in that sheriff's department. I've gone in there and told their chief and told their captain, your cop is a smartass. Why don't you tell him about me? Why don't you tell him to take his fucking gun and badge off? We'll go behind the building, behind the jail here for a minute, and we get this straightened right out. You know? I've had cops telling me, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And I tell their captain, I says, you know me. You've known me for 20-something years, man. You better tell your puppy here. He about to get his head fucked up out there. You know, I am who I am, man. I haven't had to be that guy in 20 years. Other than the last couple of years here. In other words, when I used to get in trouble, they'd get called for a fight. When the police came, there was usually one or two guys sitting on the ground, man, fucked up and shit. And me telling them, self-defense, man. The two of them tried to jump me. You know, I only hit him twice, and I only hit him 2 or 3 times. And they're saying, no way, man. I'm saying, yeah, man. It was a crazy world for me in that town. You know, I met my wife there, and we left. It wasn't until we got to this town here that we had the problems.
Yeah.
That's because she's black and I'm white.
Yeah, I remember, I remember a time too, back in, I think it was back in 2012, before I got out of the military. I'm dealing with, it's nothing to do with Harnett County, actually. It was a particular FBI agent who was, they had already spoken to me about something unrelated. It was, it was something they investigated me for. He nothing to do with the Harnett County stuff, but I was never charged with anything. But anyway, the guy, after the first time they talked to me, searched the house, didn't find anything. So then he calls me a few weeks later, wanting me to come back and talk to him. And he said he had another field office in Fayetteville near Bank of America or something like that. And I remember he told me something to the effect of how he comes to, he was just coming to, he's trying to make me feel at ease on the phone. He's like, I'd like to talk to you again. And I happen to be coming down there. I come down there once a week or something like that. And he's describing the directions to where the FBI field office is on the phone. And I remember he mentions, he said, yeah, it's right across the street from a Bank of America. And the Bank of America was on the Google Maps, which is what he was looking at when he told me that. But the Bank of America wasn't actually there anymore physically. It was gone years ago. So no, the point is,
There used to be an old courthouse there.
yeah. Well, the point is,
I remember the old courthouse.
the point is, he had never been to Fayetteville before, except for that one time he was talking to me. So he was lying to me. I could spot that pretty easily. But yeah.
Yeah, they got a little clique there, man. And a lot of those cops in Harnett County, their daddies were cops there. They kind of pass it around in the family.
Right. Yeah, I know. Like Kehagas. Like, yeah, Kehagas, that comes to mind because I've heard.
You got the city police in Wilmington, and then you got the sheriff's office, and then you got the state highway patrol office.
Yeah, I've heard that he's his dad was also a Harnett County deputy, and I heard his dad had an accidental discharge.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
22-year-old punk.
Right.
You know, like I said, I've been here about 30 years now, man.
Yeah.
You know, when I came here from New York, I was, 22, 23 years old or whatever. Now I'm 55 now.
Right.
So, yeah, you got a lot. Well, I'm telling you, man, if you can get enough people together, you probably ain't got anybody there who's actually got live video like I do. But if you had one or two more, then it's no longer, oh, they're just saying that. They're in collusion with each other. No, man, I got videotape and I can explain exactly what you were up to. And any jury would look at it and without a preponderance of a doubt agree. They would concur. They came to try to kill us. The guys they brought were punks. I told them too. I said, it's a good thing you didn't send me after me. You know? If I'm here to do a mission, that's it, man. Everybody gets smoked. My wife is begging me, please don't, because I was ready at a certain point to go get her gun. You know? Her gun was a heavy rifle, man. So, you know, she's begging me, please don't. They'll kill you. And I regret it, because if I would have grabbed her gun that day and told the cat, yo, you pointed a gun at me, and then just clipped him, my wife might still be alive, man. I would have been defending our home. Wouldn't have been a cop I shot. It would have been a bail bondsman trying to do some fugazi shit.
Right.
See, when all that happened, that district attorney is a cocksucker and involved, because I told him, I says, you pinched this bail bondsman hard enough. I want to know who set him upon me. I'm not half as mad at him as I am whoever put him up to coming here. That's the person I want. You know?
Yeah.
I told the bail bondsman that too. I told him in the end, I says, you know what, me and you, we're going to meet again. I says, he looks at me, he says, that's a threat. I says, no. I says, we're going to meet again. The threat is me telling you, like, I'd kill you. But we're going to meet again to deal about this gun issue. But what you should do is you should be as mad as you are at me for no reason. Go kick the guy's head in who sent you here. He's the one that created all of this problems for you. He's the one that's laughing about it. You know? They're dogs here, man. They're fucking a bunch of mutts with badges.
Right.
The sad part is I've actually saved cops' lives in that town. I've been in a couple of shootouts in Wellington. I saved the cop's life. They had a 22-year-old cop on the police department. He's brand new. He's out of the academy 2 weeks. What happened was he was interested in a little girl that worked there. Ironically, she's a black chick with the same last name as us. Well, her other boyfriend wanted to become a member of the Bloods. So the deal was that he was going to come in and do a stick-up at the gas station. He was going to empty the register and scare who was ever in there. Well, she got scared. She talked to one of her girlfriends, and her girlfriend told her, if you get hemmed up in this, they're going to charge you. You're going to prison for conspiracy to commit armed robbery. She got scared. She calls this young cop. He's off duty. This 22-year-old rookie. So he's there at the gas station in plain clothes. All he's got is his radio and his gun. Figuring that him just being there when these guys come in, he'll make an easy bust and save the day. Well, when the guys came in and they seen him and instantly recognized who he was, that's when the bullets started flying. I'm there when this is all happening. I got hit, sent a mass. I was standing at such an angle that the fucking bullets really did pop off my chest into my truck. It's on videotape, so every cop who watched that videotape was telling me, open up your shirt. Can I look at your chest? You know, I got these two huge red fucking, two additional nipples, more or less, on my chest. And they're saying, you know you were hit, don't you? And I'm looking at them saying, I kind of figured I got grazed. I'm not bleeding. I'm like, well, they watched the video. They actually seen the bullets kick off my chest into my truck. Yeah, I pegged one of the guys for that cop too. When I went back and behind the building to secure the station, the situation, man, he flinched and he caught one in the head. I'm not gonna get shot in the middle of the night. I just got done plugging up all of his cops. His cops and I get him out in the parking lot from in the store, and he's telling me I'm hit. I'm seeing 2 holes in his arm. He's grabbing at his chest, you know. So I'm looking at his chest. Finally, I just tear his shirt off, and I still don't see nothing. He says, "I'm burning, man. I know I'm shot in the chest." So just then, I pick his arm up, and that's when the wound opens up, you know. And he's getting all frantic and everything. He was shot in the arm, the chest, the legs. I tell him, "Look, man, in a minute, if you don't calm down, forgive me, but I'm gonna knock your ass out." I says that bullet's in there, and it might be right on top of your heart if it ain't in your heart. And you keep moving around and acting a fool, you might bleed to death before the ambulance ever gets here, you know. So I ripped the rest of his clothes off. I got him on the ground, and I'm tearing off pieces of my T-shirt, you know, and plugging the holes for him. Just then, one of the cops pulls up. He draws his gun on me. Now I've got several guns in my waistband and one in my hand, and I'm pointing the gun back at him, and I'm telling him, "This ain't what it looks like, man." I'm telling the cops, "Please tell your buddy I'm here helping you. I'm not one of the perps." And he tells him, he says, "Put your gun down. Don't shoot him. He's keeping me alive, you know." They were so fucking stupid, retarded. They did not even. I had to secure the crime scene. I literally had to tell the cop that showed up what the hell to do. He comes over to me. He says, "What do you think I should do?" And I said, "You got yellow tape in your car?" He says, "Yeah." I says, "Start stringing it around the whole perimeter of this building. Get these assholes out of here. Make them leave their cars. Cars are evidence now." They tried to keep my truck because it had the bullet holes in it. So then Captain was Eddie Holden. He was the K9 unit handler. I grab him and I tell him, I says, "Look, man, I gotta go to work here. I haven't slept since the day before yesterday. I gotta go to work for 8 hours and install sliding glass doors and windows." I says, "I need my truck." He says, "Oh, they're saying that's evidence." I says, "If you don't make sure that I get in my truck here in a minute and leave from this spot, I'm gonna have to recant everything I said." "What do you mean?" I says, "Everything I said, I don't think it went that way, man. You don't think you can get me in my truck and get me the hell out of here? I don't think everything I just testified to really happened that way. I think you're about to blow your case." And he walked over to the investigators and he told them, because when a cop gets shot, SBI is there. State Bureau of Investigation has to come in when a cop gets shot. That's all there is to it. So he walked over to them and he told them this and that. And they looked at me and I said, "You got all of the pictures you need? I'll own the truck. The truck ain't going nowhere. If you need to look at it again, you can, but don't fucking jam me up. I got to go do a job that I'm on a time schedule for. I have to go put in sliding glass doors and windows, man. Otherwise, I don't get paid today. I don't eat tonight." They're real moronish over there. It's like fucking, it's like Gunsmoke, and everybody's Festus, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like Gunsmoke, and everybody on the force is Festus. And the smartest Festus is the chief, you know? It's real lapsy-daisy here. Like, the shit that goes on here, that would never fly in, like, Chicago or New Jersey or Maryland or New York, you know? As time goes on, these next couple of years, with this new generation coming up that don't give a fuck, watch the crime rate and the attacks on police grow. You got kids out there that are growing up to be 20 and 25 years old, 30
That's
years
the
old.
thing. You know, I wish they they would understand.
Like, killed my brother.
That's the thing. I wish they would understand. You know, that it would make their jobs a lot easier too if they would make some changes. You know.
They're not gonna, because they've got a sweet deal going In North Carolina, there's a lot of laws that are built to protect cops and to protect their vested interests, you know? Like the law that's written that if my wife was 1% to blame, there is no lawsuit. I can't sue them for millions of dollars, which isn't going to stop me anyway. But the part about it all is I don't have those millions of dollars now. If I did get millions of dollars, I really wouldn't enjoy it because I wouldn't be with my wife spending it. So I'm after pure justice. You know, I want to see this cop go to prison, so this way I can make friends with his fellow inmates. I'm sorry, sir. They've caused me so much grief that if they do get convicted, I'll be telling the judge I want to be able to visit them at their prison, victim impact. When I get to that prison, I'll find somebody that, hey, man, you know this guy I'm visiting? Yeah, the reason he's here is because he used to be a cop. He's responsible for the rape and murder of my wife, beautiful black woman. I don't know if you're aware of the damn population quote, but the white boy is outnumbered 20 to 1 in prison. You go into a prison camp and there's 1,500, 2,500 inmates. 2,450 of them are all black or Mexican. 50 of those bodies might be white. And in today's prison game, you stay with your own kind. There's very few white people that'll be able to say, I'm going over to talk to the Aryans, and then when I'm done, I'm going over to talk to the Chicanos, and I got to walk through MS-13 neighborhood. And on the way to MS-13 neighborhood, I got to pass Bloods and Crips. Takes a special kind of person to be able to do that and not get shanked or raped. Takes somebody who's true to the cause, man. That's what they don't understand. I want justice. I would love to see this chief of police incarcerated. I don't care what fucking prison. They can put him in News Correctional Facility as long as I get to go visit him. As long as I get to go in there and say, hey guys, I'm here visiting the ex-chief of police of Broadway. You can't help but notice him. He looks like Butterball. Yeah. Make sure you show him a good time. Make sure he does not commit suicide. You prohibit him from committing suicide. Make sure his fucking dance card is full every night. They raped my wife, man. Yeah. You need a new pair of sneakers, man? You need some money in your canteen? I got you, man. No, I'm after justice. I'm after justice for a specific reason. One, that all of these scumbags friends around here will have to concede and say, I guess that guy was telling the truth, and this cop who's now in prison was lying through his teeth. Last couple of years, I've had people show up at our home trying to give me money. I pick up junk for a living. I make a hard living. People have shown up here apologizing to me, people I don't even know, apologizing to me and trying to put $50 in my hands, telling me things like, I was so led astray by the people I trusted and believed and the things they told me about you and your wife. It wasn't until I hung out with my cousin who actually knows you personally that filled me in, you know. They'd come to the yard sale buying shit they did not need just to, you know, to relieve their own guilt for making, you know, a misinformed judgment. I've let them off the hook. I tell them, just as long as you realize it now, there's really nothing you can do anymore. It would have been nice if you had realized it when this shit was happening. And, you know, it's ended friendships. One cop was fucking crying one time about, you've caused people that I've known my whole life to no longer talk to me. Mm-hmm. Well, don't be a pig, man. If you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to fear, you know? If you did nothing wrong, you got no reason to worry. It's like this kid. They got all over the news here. This 22, 23-year-old kid. He goes over a cross-country hike with his girlfriend. Now she doesn't come home. You want to get him to talk? Put him in Rikers Island, man. Put him in Elmira. Put him in Attica. Put him in Sing Sing prison for a couple of days. Put him in the violent sexual offenders part of the prison, you know, where guys are there just for raping other guys, and that's all they're there for. He'll talk. He'll talk within a couple of minutes. He'll talk after the first 350-pound black or white man tells him, geez, you got a really, really pretty mouth, son. He'll be calling for a guard, saying, I want to tell you what I did with him. Things ain't handled the way they used to be, you know. Instead, they use that intellect to bully regular citizens. You know, I just had it out with a pig up in the mountains. Well, I'm a police officer for the last 20 years. I says, yeah, why'd you become a cop? He said, well, to protect and serve. I says, no, wrong. I said, you became a cop for a very instance and case, such as my wife's and I. Now go in the back of that fucking jail and question the guy you got up there for dope and ask him if he knows anything about my wife and his brother's truck. Oh, I can't do that. I says, you're a fucking pussy then. I'm done with you. I got no more reason to talk to you. When God punishes you, when you're God that you're propagating and throwing up everybody's ass, when he punishes you, think about me and my wife. You know? All of a sudden your kid gets run over, man, think about me and my wife. That's your God's way of saying, I have a sense of humor too, man. And they get all irate and shit. I no longer believe in God because of all of this, buddy. God is gone for me. God wouldn't have let my wife get killed. You know, God wouldn't have let all of these crimes happen. I live next door to a church. Not only did the video camera watch what went on, but so did this alleged God. And they did nothing about it. So, you know, God wants me to believe in him. He'll send lightning bolts up the kazoo of all of the guilty, of everybody who perpetrated these crimes. There's about 12.5 cops, a thief, and a couple of co-conspirators, the friends. We had gotten a 72 truck because that's the truck we were going to drive to my mother's funeral. I wound up driving my work truck to a funeral because after that truck got stolen, I got a 1978 truck, I think it was, a dually, king cab. It just needed the fuel pumps changed. The local mechanic here I didn't know was in cahoots with these other bastards. He jerked us off for 9 months. You know? Then he loses his mind. He says, you get your fucking truck out of here, man. I don't want to work on it. That's when I realized, oh, you're friends with these cocksuckers. You done strung us along and made us look stupid. He's trying to get me to threaten him. One day he walks into me at the gas station and he's holding his little 5-year-old kid's hand. Now, he doesn't realize it, but 22 years ago, a girl asked me to kick the shit out of him, a girl that he had gotten pregnant. And when I seen him, I told him, I says, I can't go down on this kid. He's a punk, man. I says, you'll have to get one of your other little friends to do it. I'm 10, 15 years older than this kid, you know. He's only 22 years old, 20 years old. He bumps into me at a gas station. He's holding his little 5-year-old son or stepson's hand. He says, I hear you got something to say to me. I look right at the kid, and I look at him, and I tell him, I says, we'll talk again. We'll talk when you're all alone. You ain't got your baby with you. He starts to saying, I says, I'm done talking to you. We'll talk again, though. He don't know it, but he's fixing to get his ass kicked in one day, man. Every time we went to check on our truck, he was getting on his little cell phone and texting the goddamn thief who stole the first truck, making jokes about it. And it doesn't take until somebody has told him, you know, the guy can beat the shit out of you. You know? I've often had times people tell me, I've already been standing next to somebody when they're saying, I'll do this, I'll do that. And I tell them, who are you talking about? Oh, this fucking guy, he's supposed to pick up truck and everything. I says, me, motherfucker? We step out in the parking lot right now, man. Oh, you're him? Yeah, I'm him, man. Oh, it must be another, it must be another guy, man. I'll pull your fucking ear off the side of your head, Jack. I'll worry about it standing in front of a judge, man. How much is my bond? You gotta watch these people here, man.
Right. I know.
They'll try to gang up on you. Look, I had a guy across the street. He's a local here, but he's like us, okay? He's not afraid to tell a cop, hey, go fuck yourself, man. I don't care you wearing a badge. Well, he walks into the store. 4 guys are waiting outside the store with him with baseball bats. The one guy swung the baseball bat at him and broke his fucking jaw. After he did that, he took the baseball bat from the guy and he put him in intensive care. A helicopter had to come and get the one guy. The other guy, I think he broke his arms and fucking knotted his head up real good. By that time, he goes over to his truck, he gets his gun, and he holds him at gunpoint, you know? This scumbag chief of police charges this guy, his name is Craig Buchanan, with communicating threat by pointing a loaded weapon. The whole community is outraged at it, you know, because the guy was defending himself against 4 thugs that came at him with baseball bats and sticks and shit. So yeah, you gotta watch, because some of them are shifty, man. It's like the one mechanic I was telling you about with his little baby. He says to me, one fucking prior to that, he's, yeah, a guy had to use a bat to knock my teeth out. I said, really? I don't need a bat. I use my feet or my fists, man. He says, well, another time, right prior to that, I says, I'm not that kind of guy, but if I had to, I won't pay somebody to do it. I'll walk right up to you and shoot you, man. You wouldn't really do that. If you did something fucking deserving it, yeah, I would, man. Use the gangsters, wannabes, and I used to really be, you know. The last 20 years, I've been a husband, man. It doesn't mean that, you know, I wasn't young once, too. I used to love, if you look at my record, you'll see, this son of a bitch loves to fist fight. So, yeah, there's scum bums here, man.
Oh, I know.
I was trying to tell you the other day, man, if you got whoever together with, and then I get whoever together with, and we both come together with all of these people, I've got an ex-cop who has promised me, especially after my wife has been killed, that when you start talking to the right people and you need confirmation, I'll tell them everything that I witnessed going on. I said, that's all I really need. He wants get back. They fucked his life up there. You know, he was a cop for several years. And then he had to quit because they put him out there on a dark road one night. He felt like he was going to be ambushed by his own. See, you got a Tracy Carter over here in Lee County. He's a real piece of shit. He's a real daddy's boy. Every other fucking word out of his mouth. Well, my daddy did this. My daddy would give me that. My daddy did. Your fucking daddy wasn't around. You wouldn't be nobody, would you? Did you do anything on your own? You know? You got a lot of that here. My daddy this, my daddy is like, what the fuck have you done on your own, man? Impressed with me with that. Yeah, they get mad when I start talking because I'm not afraid of them, man. I mean, you might be able to kick my ass in. You know? Then again, you might not be able to. So, you know. I know they do a lot of the bullying around here. I've already been on jobs, buddy, where I've watched the boss talk like a fucking dog to their employees, and I walk over to the boss and tell him, please don't talk to me like that. It'll be on the second you do. That's the second. I came here looking a job, I'll leave here looking the same way. You know? I seen him. You stupid moron motherfucker, and that's his cousin, you know. I'll go, oh, please don't talk to me like that, man. I won't take that very well. You gotta watch. Like I said, your biggest thing is you gotta watch and protect your old lady, because they ain't shy about going after people's old ladies. They killed my wife, man. I got no reason to make it up. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
They killed her to hurt me. They killed her hoping I would kill myself. And I won't until after I'm done getting justice. And at that point in life, I'll probably take a handful of pills and drink a good bottle of hooch and just go to sleep.
Well, I mean, you're not thinking about doing that, are you?
Buddy, that's a thought that's in my head pretty much all day and night long. There's nothing here for me no more. My wife was the love of my life. My wife was my soul. told me. I said something, she completed it. I reached for something, she grabbed it. We thought as one. We worked as one. I'm missing the whole left side of my fucking body right now. I'm just trying to keep it normal, rational, sane, hoping that someday real cops will come to me and tell me, we're here, we're listening, we're here to arrest. They're not getting away with what they did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of death, you know. I look at it differently. I look at it as another stage in life. The shell that I carry with me, it only houses my energy, you know. It goes somewhere else. When you leave, it goes somewhere else. 21 grams. Nobody knows what that 21 grams is. People like me, we say that's the spirit. That's the soul. When you die, you lose 21 grams. It's not a fart. It's not a burp. It's not urine. It's not fecal matter. It's energy. We all lose the same amount, 21 grams. So no, for me, it's a step closer to be with my wife. I miss my wife terribly. Okay, I've cried so fucking much. My eyes have changed a different color, man. You understand?
Right.
My eyes ain't this color. My eyes were a totally different color a couple of months ago. They weren't this color blue. They've turned into a cold blue. You know? And they've done other things like this to other people. Stories I've heard about, and now I revisit them in my mind, you know, and I'm like, son of a bitch. They did do this. They're crooked. It's like I tell the black folks all the time. What's going to happen is you're going to have a bunch of white folks like me that are going to tell the black folks, just go home. Let us handle the racist white guys. That way there'll be no stigmatism of black and white. It'll just be white. A bunch of angry white guys kicking in the heads of a bunch of racist white guys. And that's finally when it will come. You see, at a scientific level,
Yes.
the black man walked the earth first. Due to human genome, the black man was here first. That's why he's black. At a time when the man first walked on the planet Earth, it was in a location where the Earth was closest to the sun than it's ever been in its history. Your skin had to be black to shed the light. Pangea occurred and the land masses separated into 7 different continents. That's when the lightening of the skin happened. You know, the slanting of the eye, all sorts of things. You no longer were that close in proximity to the sun. You no longer needed that much melanin to ward off the effects of the sun. Your skin became lighter. The master race, the black man was here first, man. I can prove it through science. The first skeletons that they found that are 2 or 3 million years old, it's black DNA, man. DNA is black. That's all there is to it. Now the perplexion is, where did the white man come from? Where did the yellow man come from? Where did the red man come from? You have the Muslim faith that they figure Allah scooped up some dirt, and the different colored dirts is what dictated the different color skins. Jesus, it's admitted and written, he was a man of hair of wool and skin of bronze. Ain't no white boys fitting that description. You know? We live in a very pig-headed universe, man. You're in a very racially motivated. They still upset about the Civil War here, man.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They still upset about all of those statues. I giggle about them and tell them, hey, man, that's made out of bronze and brass. Let me get that. I know what to do with that old scrap metal. My solution was the greatest solution. They've got all of these statues in storage now. They just stole Dorothea Park from Dorothea Dix Hospital years ago. Dedicate 25 acres of that land to an open-air museum. You can put your rebel flag flying damn statues there. And everybody can see them when they want to see them. They're not shoved in your face and you're made to look at them. You can't erase them, because if you do, you could have the same history repeat itself. So my way is the fairest way. Make an open-air museum, charge $1 admission, have a concession stand on the outside with a couple of amusement rides for the kids. It'll be an educational tool that makes money. And all powers are satisfied, the black and the white. Kind of out of sight, out of mind, man. I'm all for down, hey, let me have them damn things, because there's about, 25 metric tons of brass there. brass is paying $1.50 a pound right now. I'll take it. I'll scrap it for you, but it'll be gone forever. You got a lot of pig-headed shit happening here in North Carolina. North Carolina has laws on the books that have been in place for hundreds of years, that they will not concede and say we need to upgrade and step into the 21st century. Shit, buddy, I know places in North Carolina where there's still signs on the bathrooms where it says black and white. I know where there's a couple of water fountains that still have those signs on them. There's one in Franklin County, up towards Virginia Way. There's one down by Myrtle Beach, where these signs still say black and white, man. So, once that's gone, it's like the rebel flag. Okay, I can understand. It's a tributary towards the men and women who died during the Civil War. 100 years before I was born. You should have gotten over mourning. But when you sit there and say shit like the South will rise again, okay, maybe it will. But the North will beat it back down again. It's just the way it is. They don't like when I talk. I piss off a lot of people, buddy. There's an old saying. I discriminate equally. If you're going to discriminate, then keep in mind, I discriminate equally. If you're a black man acting like a fool and you need to be discriminated against because of it, I will. If you're a white man acting like a fool and you need to be discriminated against, I will. Best way to get me to not discriminate equally is to don't do horse-ass shit. And if the rest of the world did that, it might be a good place to live, man. The 10 years difference in our age is enough for me to have grown up in the 60s and 70s, and I was there when race wars were happening. When race riots were happening, I was in the middle of it. I didn't see it on TV, I was in it. And I had black people hushing me out of the neighborhood, telling me, you don't want to be here, man. We got to get you the hell out of here. Get in my car, we're going. I'm dropping you off outside the city limits. And that's for real. Had it been any other white guy, they probably got their head cracked open, man. Until this world can learn to look at each other as human beings. You were in the Army, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Did you give a shit about the guy's color that had your 6 when you were out in the field?
No.
That's right. Because he was going to have your 6. He did not see you as anything other than, well, he's a white guy, but he's my partner. And if I got to save his ass, I will, because I know he's going to save my ass. And once the rest of society accepts that as the norm, it might be a good place to be, man. If you believe in God, he created everybody with differences to make everybody distinguishable. It's like there's no perfect created human being. Your one ear is going to be lower than the other. Your one eyebrow might be bigger than the other. The left side of your lips might be disformed other than the right side of your lips. Because you were created so perfectly that a mistake had to be inserted. Nobody's perfect. the saying goes, except for God. You know? Just reflect on your own history in the armed forces. If you see an active hot LZ, you usually had a reverend or a priest or a preacher of your denomination and faith telling you shit like, bless you, son, may the Lord be with you, and kill as many as the enemy as you can. You know, how godly is that, man? You know, how Christian is that when you look at it? It's like this shit that's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan right now. This fucking president has probably killed tens of thousands of innocent people by withdrawing the way that he did. He left 1 million different ordinances there. Humvees, Chinooks, Apaches, gunner fucking half-tracks, tanks. Then we're talking about individual ordinances and munitions. People say, what, 1 million guns? No. 1 million of a varied source of surface-to-air rockets, claymores, fraggers, incendiaries, M16s, you know, M10s, M2s, 50 cals. Left a boatload of shit there. You and me both know that that shit was supposed to be taken to a pile and somebody was supposed to put some syntax and shape charges on that shit. Now, ISIS has that shit because it wasn't destroyed. You know? The people that got left behind, sympathizers, the Afghanistani people who were ratting out the terrorists. How long do you think they're going to remain alive for? Before the Taliban settles down and they say, we got some rats to go hunt up. Then we got to go dig a mass grave and kill them all and bury them in it. That's what's going to happen, okay? Give it a couple of months. We'll be dragged back into that shit again. The normal solution is this Taliban and ISIS has worked so hard to fight this war with us. Give them a half a chance. Offer them a seat at the United Nations table. Let them become part of NATO, okay? Give them an embassy here. Treat them like human beings. They want to be called Taliban? Call them Taliban. Don't call them Taliban. You're disrespecting them right off the top. You know? Don't call them ISIS. They prefer to be called ISIS. You know, it's like going into a dying lion's cage and poking it repeatedly in the eye. If that lion ever gets out of that cage, you know what's going to happen. So you give them a half a chance. They fought. They said they want to become part of. They want to become, you know, modernized. They still want to have their old beliefs. You know, they're having problems right now where women ain't going to have no positions of authority. That's going to change because the women are going to tell them, cook your own fucking dinner. You know? I can't drive a car. You know how to cook. Throw the egg in the frying pan and set the damn flame up. Them Taliban men ain't going to stand for that too much, and they can't control their woman. What are they going to do? You can't control her? You're going to kill her? And you have no woman at all. So if America says, like they should, okay, you just formed your own government. You worked hard to overthrow what you viewed as a corrupt government. Show us that you're not going to victimize your own citizens. Show us that you really want to be part of the United Nations. You know? Show us you're coming to the table and you're going to handle atrocities that were perpetrated in wartime due to this Geneva Convention. And you're going to set up a legitimate government. You know, you're not going to have one class of people that rape the people. You're going to have senators and congressmen, a parliament, you know, you're going to have your little Capitol Hill, your presidency, etc. If America does not extend its hand in this way, we're going to be called back over there. You know, and you're recently retired?
Yes.
You got rank?
Yes.
You'd be one of the first ones they call in. Don't think that they can't make you go. And that contract that you signed, there's a stipulation. In active wartime, you can be reactivated.
Right.
If you don't believe me, check. You could be, because you have tenure, training, and authority due to certification of rank. You know, anything over E3 can be made to go back against their will. You say, I already did 2 tours there, and they tell you, well, we got a bunch of 20-year-old kids that don't know their shit from Shinola, so we need to insert you. Otherwise, we're going to put you in Leavenworth. Contempt of the United States Armed Forces. You signed on for that. You might not realize it, but that's in your contract. When you signed, it's in the fine print. It's in your packet. That if there was ever a need to reactivate you, even in your 60s, if you're sane, rational, and in good physical health, and can carry a gun, they'll send your ass over there.
Oops. You know what happened? My battery died. I'll just reply to him on Facebook when I said my battery died. Had it listening to him. Oh boy, I recorded it. Most of it. I'm still recording now. But yeah, that guy. His name is John. The name he was using was John McDonald. I looked up a few John McDonalds in the Broadway area. Is his name John R. McDonald? I found a John R. McDonald in the local area. Let's see, who else did I find? Yeah, related to Misty McDonald, Lindy McDonald, Lewis Taylor, Tammy Carpenter. John R. There's a few John R. McDonald in his 80s. John J. McDonald is, unless it's this guy, John R. McDonald, or John F. McDonald. He said he was in Broadway. So if he is a real person, it could be this guy. But his story doesn't appear to be backstopped. He was saying that his wife was murdered by his deputies, but I can't find any record of that person he was talking about anywhere in that area. But I didn't ask him for specific names. I suspect he's undercover. Probably trying to probe me to see if I'm potentially dangerous or whatever. You know what I mean? Which I'm not. Yeah, he's sending me a message now. I might tell him later my battery died. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna go cook the chicken? God damn. It's only like 9 o'clock. You hungry? God damn. I was talking that stupid ass for how long now? I gotta go cook still. Yeah. I'm still marinating, huh? Damn it. Alright. More than likely, he's not even real. I mean, if his story is real, I hope his story's not real. I don't think it is, but just be aware if he is not undercover, because we mean no harm to anyone. Let's see, I'm just writing another email here. The whole time he was talking, all I was doing was sitting there emailing the FBI saying, "Yeah, I know this guy's one of yours. Will you tell him to shut up?"
What?
And I was like, well, I'm also tipping him off that in case he's not undercover, this guy was making some suggestive comments. In fact, let me write that specifically.
Just what APO, baby?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry, I'm going to go cook in a second, okay?
It's okay, baby.
If he's not FBI or law enforcement, I'm just letting you know he was making suggestively threatening. Comments on FaceTime about Susan Matthews and someone named, what was his name? I've heard the name before. Fucking, what the hell is the goddamn idiot's name? Where is it? It's on here somewhere. That makes me want to watch. You want to watch a Goodfellas movie now? Damn. He was getting tired towards the end. You could tell. You know what I mean? That guy's FBI. You hear how he was laying on the Jersey tough guy routine?
Yeah.
Like talking like a Jersey hitman the whole time, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, what was he saying? Yeah, well, how do those guys talk in the movie Goodfellas?
Yeah.
You know how they talk in the movies, you know? The gangsters talk. He was like, you guys watch too many fucking movies, FBI. You know what I mean? Who's falling for that bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Who do you think is going to fall for that nonsense? I've seen Goodfellas before, FBI. I'm going to write that too. I'm going to write that here. Where was the fucking name of that person? They're experimenting on me is what they're doing. You know what they're doing, right? You know that's what they're doing, right? Okay, what was that other idiot's name? He mentioned Matthews and who else? What was the other name he mentioned besides Susan Matthews? Shit! I thought I had already written it down. No, the DA's name. Matthews and the other person. Not a name I've ever mentioned before, but I've heard the name before. I've heard that name before. Where the fuck is it?
No.
I could have sworn I wrote it down. It's probably down here. Susan Matthews, I'm sorry, I don't have hatred for you like this guy. I'm talking to now. Please watch out for John. He's not making open threats, but he's saying scary stuff. I'm recording it now. Okay, he keeps suggesting DA Susan Matthews and Autry. Okay, here it is. He mentioned Matthews and Autry. That's the name right there. Autry. Let me write that down, because, all right, if John McDonald is not FBI, watch out for him, but keep your deputies away from him. Use state or federal, no locals. But watch out for him. I just hung up. Just be aware if he is not undercover. Just be aware if he is not undercover, because we mean no harm to anyone. If he's not FBI or law enforcement, I'm just letting you know he was making suggestively threatening comments on Facebook Messenger to me about DA Susan Matthews and someone named Autry. I've heard that name before.
You got my phone.
Uh-huh. Fuck. Okay, yeah, I gotta plug your phone in here. And I'm still recording here. Who do you think is gonna fall for that? Seriously. Oh shit! What did I say when I was to you earlier when I was joking about it? I recorded all that. Oh man, what did I say? Did I say anything too crazy?
No.
I just went off and said, "Who's falling for that shit?" Did I say something like that? Is that okay for me to record or put on YouTube? I'm just gonna mark it as unlisted or private anyway. But in case this guy goes out and does something crazy, you know what I mean? I want to keep this conversation documented in case he's not undercover, because you never know. There are some crazy people out there. Okay, so I'm pretty sure he's undercover FBI. Didn't you hear the suggestive threats he was making, like mentioning Matthews and mentioning the other person named Autry? Remember that?
Yeah.
Let me read this real quick. Okay, if John McDonald is not FBI, watch out for him, but keep your deputies away from him. Use state or federal, no locals, but watch out for him. I just hung up. Just be aware if he is not undercover because we mean no harm to anyone. If he's not FBI or law enforcement, I'm just letting you know he was making suggestively threatening comments on Facebook Messenger to me about DA Susan Matthews and someone named Autry. I've heard that name before. I think he's just talking, but honestly, I know he is undercover law enforcement probing me more than likely. Oh yeah, I'll play that again. All right. Let me read let me proofread real quick. Let me proofread this email one more time, and then I'll play it. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
If John McDonald is not FBI, watch out for him, but keep your deputies away from him. Use state or federal, no locals, but watch out for him. I just hung up on him. I'll probably tell him my battery died later, but I mean, just be aware. No, I don't need to reply. He's going to hear about this. He's FBI, or he's an informant or something. Okay, I just hung up on him. Just be aware he is not undercover because we mean. Just be aware if he is not undercover because we mean no harm to anyone. If he's not FBI or law enforcement, I'm just letting you know he was making suggestively threatening comments on Facebook Messenger to me about DA Susan Matthews and someone named Autry. I've heard that name before. I think he's just talking, but honestly, I know he's more than likely undercover law enforcement probing me. More than likely, I already wrote that. Okay. Oops. Probing me. Okay. You can cut this part out now. That's all spying is, Gary. Acting. So I wrote, this guy deserves an Academy Award for his routine, but needs cover classes. Yep. I know they are both undercover. In case they are not, keep your deputies away from this guy. Use state or federal if you have to approach him. John McDonald. Okay, this issue interrupts my daily email. I think you should please read this one. Okay, you can cut that part out. His name, John McDonald. I will keep this recording marked private or unlisted in case you need it. If you need the recording, I have most of it. He's not FBI. If he is not FBI, keep an eye on John McDonald, please, FBI. Please, FBI. Damn, after this guy shuts up, I'm going to need to watch the movie Goodfellas. He's talking... Yeah, I mean... he was... and he was talking suicidally. That's why another reason why I didn't want to hang up, but I could tell he's not ready to... Unless he's gonna... I don't think he's gonna shoot himself tonight or anything, but I mean, he was kind of talking suicidal. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's another thing I was kind of concerned about. That's why I didn't want to hang up. Kind of. But, if he's not FBI, keep an eye on John McDonald, please, FBI. Okay, damn, after this guy shuts up, I'm going to need to watch the movie Goodfellas. I'll leave that in there so they can get the impression of what his performance was like. Anyway, oops, okay, typo. He was talking slightly suicidal, which is why I did not want to hang up at first. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hang on. Yeah. Okay. I was FaceTime. I was FaceTime with John McDonald and not Michael Banzier. I didn't FaceTime with him, but Michael Banzier is probably undercover as well. I was FaceTiming with John McDonald. I know they are both undercover, you idiots. Okay, yeah, you can leave that in there, actually. Just stop. I do not want to hurt anyone. Just stop. I just want to live in peace. I do not want to hurt anyone. Susan Matthews, I don't like you, but I don't mean you any harm. Watch John McDonald. Susan Matthews, I'm sorry. I don't have hatred for you like this guy I'm talking to now, that I was talking to. Susan Matthews, I'm sorry. I don't have hatred for you like this guy I was talking to earlier. Please watch out for John McDonald. Okay, he keeps suggesting DA Susan Matthews and Autry. Okay, did I already write that up top? Yes. Okay, so cut that line out. Okay, John McDonald is obviously fake. He's lying. He's laying on the Jersey Hitman, the Jersey Hitman routine way too thick. And his cover story is not backstopped. Dumb. I really will not hurt anyone. Stop probing the FBI. Just in case he is not. He said he called the FBI talking about explosive compounds. That was what he was saying. A lot of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Remember that part? He started talking about Semtex and C4 and TNT. Remember that? He started talking about explosive compounds. He wasn't saying he was going to do anything, or he said something like he was suggesting, making suggestively. That's why I would say maybe not blatantly threatening. He wasn't saying I'm going to do this to anybody, but he was making suggestively threatening comments, is what I'll call it. He didn't say anything like what I say, where I I don't make threats, but I do say stuff. I do use strong language. You know what I mean? I never make blatant threats, but I do definitely use strong language all the time when I call people in Harnett County and stuff. And this guy was saying stuff way beyond anything I would ever think about saying on the phone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he was saying stuff way beyond that. You know. So yeah, I think I'll keep this recorded and just keep this marked on YouTube as unlisted or private. YouTube, please don't. If there's anything in there, it's not allowed. The purpose of this recording is potentially for law enforcement, just in case this guy was not an undercover agent. In case he is dangerous, I just want to keep this conversation stored somewhere, just in case law enforcement requires it. So please don't take it down, and please don't shut off my channel, because it's not. This recording's not going to be shared with anybody except for possibly law enforcement, in case they need it, in case this guy turns out to be, in case this guy's planning to do something bad, basically. So I'm just keeping a document of it. Let me proofread my email one more time, and I'm going to cut off the recording. If John McDonald is not FBI, watch out for him, but keep your deputies away from him. Use state or federal, no locals, but watch out for him. I just hung up on him. Just be aware if he is not undercover, because we mean no harm to anyone. If he is not FBI or law enforcement, I'm just letting you know he was making suggestively threatening comments on Facebook Messenger to me about DA Susan Matthews and someone named Autry and someone else named Autry. I've heard that name before. I think he's just talking, but honestly, I know he's more than likely undercover law enforcement probing me. That's all spying is, Gary. Acting. Okay, and should I take out the little crack there? Nah. Leave it in so they get the metaphor there of what I'm saying, I guess. This guy deserves an Academy Award for his routine, but needs cover classes. Okay. Let me cut that off there. I'm droning on a little bit too much here, I think. In case they are not, keep your deputies away from this guy. Use state or federal if you have to approach him. His name is John McDonald. I will keep this recording private unless you need it. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send it. Like that. Let me reply back and tell again right in there in this email. The recording I have is, I've got more than 2 hours of recordings of this guy, because I have some of it recorded in the iPad as well. I have 2 hours of this guy talking like a wise guy from Jersey. How about that? I have 2 hours recorded. I'm sorry. I have 2 hours recorded of this guy talking to me. I have 2 hours recorded of this guy talking.
Honey?
Yep.
Yeah, I go down.
To me. Yeah, in fact, you want to go downstairs and let me go downstairs and put the chicken in the oven. You still hungry? It's already 9 o'clock now. Darn it! I should have cooked. I wanted to put the chicken in the oven. Like, in fact, I was right about to get up and cook as soon as that guy called, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Wasn't I? God damn it! Yeah, I sure was. Okay, well, I'll go put the chicken in the oven anyway. I'm kind of hungry. What about you?
Not really, dude.
Well, I'm gonna put it in the oven anyway.
Yeah.
You want vegetables too?
Not really.
Maybe I'll make them anyway because they've been in there, sitting in the refrigerator for a little while now.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 2 hours recorded of this guy talking to me like a wise guy from Jersey.
Just put it in the oven. I'm not that
I have more than.
Okay.
You sure? Because all you had to do was eggs, and we got this. They came over to clean earlier, and we were distracted with that, and then I was about to get up and cook, and then that idiot called.
It's all right, then.
If this story is real, I'm not going to keep this recording public, but that guy was clearly. I don't think that guy's story was real. I think he was more than likely an undercover FBI guy, or possibly even a local cop just trying to probe me to see. Could he even be some idiot deputy for all I know? You know what I mean? He might not be anything. He could be some. I mean, because that guy, you'd think if it was undercover FBI, they'd be a little smarter than that. You know.
You got my phone over there?
But not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, I've dealt with them before, and they're not. You know, they're not necessarily that smart because they're FBI. I've learned to. Well, don't underestimate them though. But they're not necessarily, you know, that brilliant because, and he might not have necessarily been an agent. He might have been an informant. Who knows? He could have been and he might not have been anybody. He might have been just crazy. He might just, well, not crazy, but crazy. But I mean, he might have just been some random person on the internet talking crazy. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm putting it in the email and sending it back to Susan Matthews and even her. God damn it. But the FBI and not everybody, but just the attorneys, and I included the news media. The FBI's on it, the email. So people will see this in case he's not, and just in case I'm dealing with a wacko, okay? So I'm gonna tell people. If you see something, say something, right?
Yeah.
So let's say something here, just in case. But I'm pretty sure that's an undercover FBI guy. Okay, I have more. Okay, I have more than. Damn it! Hang on, I left a typo here. Hang on. I have more than. So of course I'm going to send the email again. I have more than.
Sorry, honey.
Sorry, that's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut this recording here.